The first thing on the ticket for tonight, GG, is the Adelaide Ice ArenA, which it did make news on Sunday morning when it was announced that the news filtered through that the game between the Adelaide Rush and the Melbourne Ice would be postponed. It was due to a carbon monoxide emergency at the rink. People went off to hospital to get checked. The Rush did win on the Saturday 6-2, but the backup game obviously can't be rescheduled. Massive news for the season, but also just for people themselves. GG, I'm glad that it sounds like most people have been gone to hospital, seen a doctor, and have sort of got the all clear and on the mend. I did speak to some people, some Ice supporters and things like that, and they sort of felt that when they were watching the game on the Saturday, they felt like they could see the effects of something happening then on the Saturday game. So I'm glad that everyone's feeling okay. If they might have had a couple of headaches or whatever, I'm glad they got checked out and they're feeling okay, and they're all back in Melbourne as well, and the people in Adelaide.
Yeah, I think even in the YouTube chat, because I was, obviously we watch all the games, and we were commentating during that first game, so we couldn't see the game on the Saturday. It started at the same time as Sydney Brisbane, so watching it back afterwards, and I think Mark Weber made a comment in the YouTube chat, asking whether the pucks had been frozen because it looked like they were bobbling around a little bit, and maybe that was just who knows, like a symptomatic of players not being 100%. So, I think everyone's going to have an opinion on what is the fair outcome. Some people thought maybe the points should have been split on Saturday as well as Sunday. So just to recap, our understanding is that the Saturday's result will count and Sunday goes down as a tie. Each team receives a point. Players are credited with a game played. And yeah, that's kind of how things shake out there. So I think the most important thing, you can debate whether or not that's fair or not, but the most important thing is that the players seem to have, from posts put out by the teams, seem to be recovered or recovering. So that's good news.
And hats off to the AWIHL and Ice Hockey Australia as well. They did put out a media release, and we know that the AWIHL commissioner was up at all hours of the morning, fielding phone calls and messages and figuring out what was going on. So hats off to the league and IHA as well. And given where the league is and the standing of the league, it was just too difficult to reschedule with costs and things like that, travel, accommodation, all that sort of stuff as well. So you're sort of hemmed in, aren't you, GG, for what you can do in these sort of moments as a league?
Yeah, you are. Michaela was up. We were getting messages from her, from 3 a.m. Perth time, and I know she was up for many, many more hours after that, trying to get that statement out through IHA. So, yeah, hopefully, she got a nap later on in the day. But yeah, Andrew Egan, a relief, no major harms to players. Yeah, this happens quite frequently. I was looking it up, and Saskatchewan, there was like a research paper put out because it was happening in a lot of rinks. So I know some people were like, oh, carbon monoxide poisoning, how could that happen? It's actually, when you look it up, it's a lot more common than you think. I think it happened in the EIHL earlier this season, and they put out a statement. So yeah, it does happen. I'm told, or the current news is that they have installed carbon monoxide detectors in the Adelaide Ice ArenA. I don't know. I assume they're permanent, but not too sure. And it's returned to 0 levels, so that's good news. And I think an issue with the Zamboni is being looked at. Yeah.
With hopefully this sort of thing either doesn't happen in the future, or it's very, very rare, especially with the AI approaching as well. GG, you don't want this sort of thing happening during the AI season as well.